So you have an essay due on a story, play, or article that you've read. And after reviewing the text a few times, you finally found a quote that you want to use in your essay to support your argument. That's a great start, but how exactly do you get that quote into your essay? Including well-chosen quotations in your writing adds strength to your argument, but you want to avoid dropping quotations into your essay like this. Give your reader a heads up that a valuable citation is coming. In order to make your quotes or textual evidence fit fluidly into your own writing, rather than randomly dropped or forced in, consider using the 3 following techniques for smooth and accurate integration of quotes. The first method is using a comma to bring quotes from other sources into your essay. This technique is similar to writing a piece of dialogue in a story. To see if this method works in your essay, ask yourself these questions. Can the phrase you've written before the quote stand on its own as a sentence? If the answer is no, you should use a comma after your introductory phrase and before the quote to connect these pieces of information. For example, set up your quote the same way you'd write dialogue in a narrative. Here, your introductory or your signal phrase identifies the speaker and a bit of context before including the quote itself in quotation marks. As a writer, you can choose whether you want to provide context for your quotes before or after the quote itself, depending on what you'd like to emphasize and how you'd like the sentence to flow in your paragraph. Notice that these highlighted phrases or fragments cannot work as sentences themselves. Therefore, you would use a comma to attach your signal phrase to the quote. The second method for integrating a quote from another source into your essay involves using a colon. This method is similar to what a lawyer might do in a courtroom. The lawyer makes a claim, and then to support it, he points to a piece of evidence, Exhibit A, to prove the statement that he just made. To see if this method works in your essay, ask yourself this key question. Can the phrase you've written before the quote stand on its own as a sentence? If the answer is yes, you can put a colon after your phrase before the quote you're embedding. Let's say you've just written the following claim. Since this setup phrase can stand on its own as a sentence, you can put a colon after the phrase and before your quote that proves your claim, like this. It's helpful to think of the colon as a punctuation mark that acts more like an equal sign. The phrases on both sides of the colon work together to make the same point. A third method for embedding a quote into your writing is to make the author's words part of your own sentence or idea without using a comma or a colon to mark a concrete distinction. To see if this method works for your essay, ask yourself this. If you took away the quotation marks around the author's language, would you need to put any punctuation in those spots to make it work? Here's an example of what I'm talking about. To support a claim about the types of clothing worn by the characters in the story, this student uses the author's phrasing in her sentence to make her claim more concrete. But what happens if we take away the quotation marks? Since the statement still makes sense when the quotation marks are removed, and it isn't necessary to add any other punctuation where they were, you can go ahead and put the quotation marks back where they were and just let them sit there to mark which words are yours and which are not in your argumentative statement. Perhaps this seems like too much effort. After all, it'd be easier to just drag and drop quotes into your essay wherever you like. But what happens if you don't use these methods? Using punctuation when integrating quotes is like following the rules of the road, and throwing quotes into your essay without letting your reader know they are coming is like changing lanes without indicating. That quote just came out of nowhere. Additionally, not using correct punctuation when you embed quotes into your writing might send the wrong signal, either that you don't know the rules, or that you do, but you just don't care. So those are the 3 methods you can use to integrate sources into your work. Don't forget, after every quote, be sure to cite your source with an in-text citation. For more help with that, click on the link provided in the comments below. Whether you choose to use a comma, a colon, or no punctuation when integrating a quote into your sentence, it's important to craft your signal phrases carefully. And as always, be sure to leave time for proofreading. Thanks for watching.